Today's Final Fantasy XIV guide will be presented in full Peter Pan attire. G'day, ZiggyD here, and welcome back for another Final Fantasy XIV guide. Today I'm going to be talking about how to approach new zones efficiently so that you can get the most out of each one without dwelling for too long. I'll also be throwing in some general leveling tips as well that you can apply whilst clearing each zone. So, let's start off with the actual process by which you start by clearing these zones. So as you can see, I've just arrived in Western La Nocie, just taken the boat to Alaport Docks, and I'm about to start clearing this zone. Now, the reason I am in this zone is because my main storyline quest is taking me to the Sastasha dungeon, I believe. But, it's taken me into this zone, and this is going to be the theme for you clearing and starting most zones. It will be because one or more of your quests are leading you into that zone. So that's a good indication that you should be in that zone. Another good indication is you should be a minimum of 5 levels below the mobs. I think that's right, a minimum, basically. You don't want to be more than 5 levels below the mobs in a particular zone. And you can see that pretty much straight away here. We've got level 10 Fate here, we've got a level 47 Fate, so that's obviously a separate section there. We don't need to worry about too much like that. But we know we've got this level 10 one in this particular side of the zone, but most of the quests in this area are 10 to 15, and I'm about 16, so maybe I'm a little bit over-leveled. That's just because I've been a little bit thorough. But anyway, we'll leave that for now. So, the first step in the process for clearing your zone is to start questing, basically. You want to start heading towards your main quest, and while you're doing it, you should be grabbing all the side quests along the way. Now, make sure you do check the levels of these side quests as you go, because if your quest has led you to another main city, for example, which happens around level 15, you'll start coming across some quests which are only like level 1, 2, and 3. And that's because they're meant for, basically if you were starting to level in those zones, you could save those quests that are more than, 5 levels below you, or maybe even more than 2 levels below you. You can save those quests just for use on alternate characters if you want, unless you're like a mad completionist or something like that. So for example, I'll check this guy here. We've got a level 15 quest, that's fine. I accept that. 3,000 experience is well worth my time, and I'm going to be full clearing this zone anyway, so there's really no reason not to grab this quest. Now, I've read all these guys. This is a leave quest. I'm actually going to decline because I'm saving my leave quest for now, so we'll ignore the leave quest, but all other quests I'll be grabbing as I go. So basically, as I said in the last video, Square have done a really good job of clustering quests together and batching them all together. So basically, as I head to this, I'm going to get a lot of these guys as I complete this quest, and as I complete these side quests. For example, I've got Honor, Wing, and Prayer here. As I complete this and go back to return it, more quests are going to become available to me, and I'm just going to naturally stumble across all of these. So you want to grab all of those as much as possible. Now, as soon as fates pop up when you're in this zone, jumping between quests essentially. So you start off by questing, that's your first step. Then you want to keep an eye out on the map for whenever fates are appearing. So say a fate appears around here, and maybe it's a level 15 to 20 fate, maybe it's a level 20 fate. I'm level 16, that's fine. Jump in that fate, do that ASAP. That should be your priority. Grab any quests you need to grab on the way, do the fate. You want to get those as soon as they come up because they're an excellent way to get experience. And then, basically, when those fates are done, when you've completed those fates, you want to continue on with your questing. So that way you're chaining together the quests with the fates, and you're not really having any downtime in your XP income. So that's a really solid way of doing that. So next up, while you're doing your fates and your questing, make sure to keep an eye out for monsters in your hunting log. Let's bring this guy up here. Now I believe I've actually missed some from the Eastern Shroud, but if I was keeping up with my hunting log effectively, I should be seeing hunting log. Actually, I definitely need to go back and clear those. That's a good example of what not to do. Make sure you complete your hunting log in each zone before you move on, and that is one of the tips that I was going to get to anyway. But yet something I haven't done. Bad example. Don't do what Donnie Don't does. Anyway, so make sure while you're doing these quests to fulfill any hunting log monsters you see. So say for example we see this a mob standing up around here somewhere, and it has the little swirly hunting log symbol above it. We want to kill that mob, but that's not enough. We want to make sure we kill each one of those mobs there, so that we're fully filling out that hunting log. As you see, some of these are just 1, but a lot of them are like 0 out of 4. So if I come across a wild hoglet, I want to make sure I stay in this area until I complete that hunting log. And then, just do that while you're doing the quests. A lot of quests will overlap. Some quests will, for example, tell you to kill the dusk bat, and that might even be on my hunting log at some point as well. So I can go ahead and do that as well. So that's a really efficient way of combining those 3 things together: fates, your hunting logs, and your quests, and you can pretty much do all of those. Now, basically you want to just keep repeating that quest process. Whenever fates pop up, you can just you do your fates, you jump between your quests, you're getting tons of experience doing that, doing your hunting logs whenever you see them, and then when that's done, you should be, no more than 2 levels above all of the fates from that area. That's when you want to start wrapping things up. So when you start to notice that you are starting to really out-level the content, so if I get to like level 20 in this zone here, a lot of these guys are level 15, so I'm already getting close to out-leveling them. But if a lot of mobs in here are level 20, once I get to level 20, 22, I want to start wrapping things up. So when that occurs, what you want to do is finish up all of your quests. So you can probably start ignoring fates then, ignoring new fates that pop up. So start finishing off all of the quests in the zone, and if there's any side quests that you've left for too long, for example, I left one quest a while back that was level 7, and I still hadn't got to it by the time I was level 15, just ditch that quest. You can press abandon in the journal, so you basically go here and you can abandon that quest. And, sure, it might hurt your completionist instincts, but you can leave that aside for leveling another class. So if you're in that area on another class at level 7 later on, you can pick up that level 7 quest and do it. But for now, it's just easier just to abandon them if you've already over-leveled them for too much. It's probably not worth sticking around for them. So the other thing you want to do once you've started to out-level a zone, and once you're pretty confident that you've done everything you need to be doing, and it's time to move on, you want to make sure you get all of those hunting logs. As I said, I didn't, so I definitely need to go back, and I probably will before I start clearing this zone, so that I don't miss any mobs that I should be killing in this zone for my hunting log quest. So go through, you can check out each one of these and know, okay, I've missed the Goblin Hunter, I'm in the East Shroud, I only got to go kill one. It also says the Honey Yard, so essentially you can go to your map and basically you can find where that is on here. So say this was the Eastern Shroud, I could find the Honey Yard is like listed here, and I just need to head over in that direction to complete that. Complete each one of those, because as you can see, they award you a ton of experience, and then you get a big reward once you do each log. But essentially, you have to complete each rank to be able to move on to the next rank, so that you can actually start, so you can keep this up as you're doing this questing, and keep that efficient and keep clearing that well. So now I'll give some general tips. Firstly, make sure to grab every aetheryte you come across. I talked about this in the last video, but this also includes when you're clearing zones. So I did a bad one again. I didn't grab this aetheryte on the way out, so I'm going to head back and do that, because you will want to probably come back to this point at some point for other quests, or it makes it easier to pop back into town if you need to. So attune to those aetherytes. Now if you're in a zone and you think you're going to be leveling in there for a while, it's also worthwhile setting that aetheryte to be your favored destination as well. Sorry, not your home point. So once I attune this, since I know I'll be coming back here shortly, because I actually need to go back and fix out those other hunting logs, I will set this to my favored destination right now, and that will save me about, I think it cuts the price in half for teleporting to there. So for example, this is my favorite destination there. I've got the Bent Branch is also my favorite in the other zone, and Arleport's favorite here too. Apparently you can have a favored destination in each area. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. So next up, you want to make sure you also talk to each Chocobo Porter. So this guy has a little exclamation mark above his head. That should be a pretty good indication that you should talk to him anyway, because activating each one of these guys is a pretty good way to ensure that you can use them later, which is pretty good, and it's a good way to get around later on as well. So make sure you grab all of those and grab all of those aetherytes. Next tip. In general, it's a good idea to chain monsters as much as possible. When you're doing fates, you'll be naturally doing this, especially if you're with a party. This becomes much easier. And then when you finish the fate, you might have like an 8 chain up, and you might still have 30 seconds on it. You might as well go ahead and kill some other mobs here. Now this right here is really awesome, because it leads on to the next tip. Don't be afraid to tag other people's mobs. This mob is purple, it is that other guy's mob, yet he's still going to get kill credit. You can't kill steal in this game. And I still got experience for it, and I still got credit. So everyone benefits from tagging other people's mobs. Now, all you need to do to tag other people's mobs is get 30% damage about. If it's just one other person fighting it, 30% damage is enough to kill that mob off. Enough to tag it. See, I should be able to tag this mob as well if I use a few of my abilities there. And yeah, I tagged that mob, so I got experience there. And that's a great way to keep your chain up. It's a great way to, get more experience quickly. To complete your quests, it's a great way to quest. It's really good. It just speeds up their kills. As I said, they don't lose anything from it. So tag the crap out of all mobs you see. And, it's even easier if you're in a party, because, everyone's mobs tagged in a party, and fates, for example, counts towards your chains as well. So go ahead on that. Now, there is actually a process you can use when you're in a large party to power level using this chain method. Essentially, you can keep this chain up and get a lot of bonus experience and level really, really quickly. I've got a guide to that I wrote up on my site, ZiggyD.tv, so I'll put that down in the description below. Check that out if you're interested in learning about that power leveling method. But for everyone else, you probably just want to follow the questing method, and that's probably the method I'm going to go with as well. So, next tip. Make sure you always have plenty of food. Another thing I haven't done for this guide. Basically, you want to make sure you always have some food on your toolbar or in your inventory ready to go, because that extra experience, that 3% extra experience is really good. And also, you probably shouldn't really discount the stats as well. An extra 2% critical hit rate. It's going to make me kill stuff faster overall. Extra vitality might help keep me alive. So it's always good to keep yourself well fed. And that's where I'll leave you off. Hopefully you guys have found this guide informational, entertaining. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.